I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Good morning. So I'm going to take back up on my sexual biology series here after this video. But I wanted to make a video because I've been kind of thinking about a lot of how people think, how groups take information, process information. Human beings as in groups of individuals. And because that's an area of interest of mine, if you've probably known from before, I've done a lot. I've mentioned Bob Altemeyer in my other videos many times ad nauseum, because it's amazingly because of his several decades of almost continuous updating of his research on this stuff, and he's got such a he's got just tens of thousands of test cases, which is an amazing sample size. So anyway, what I want to talk about is I'm trying to think of a good analogy, one that I can relate to, because I don't want to name any specific details or individuals. Okay, I'm just talking about a general thought process. Okay, I don't know, and this is a true fact. You may not, I'm sure you don't know this, but I am strongly opposed to the charter fishing industry. Okay. Not at their roots. I don't believe they're all bad people. In fact, I believe there's some great people involved in the industry. But I believe that overall, the fishing association that controls it, the politicians that are in their pocket, the money that changes hands, it's corrupt and it's evil, and it hurts real Alaskans. It hurts real... I know people that are personally suffer for it. I see how they mismanage the resource, and I see how they... anyway, that long story. Okay, so I just don't like them. In fact, we use a term for them. We call them fish pimps. You go down to the dock and they're out there trying to, it's basically it's like walking, if anybody's ever walked through a red light district in a city, and you're getting solicited constantly. It's kind of like that. It's like walking through Patpong in Thailand or something like that. You're just getting these people soliciting you. It's kind of nauseating. Okay, so that's my opinion of these people, and that actually is a true opinion of it. And again, I recognize that there's some good people, although I think I've seen a lot of the good people are driven out of the industry because of the corruption. So this is a good analogy for other agencies or groups that people may have a problem with. Okay, so now here's a couple of different things I could go with this opinion if I were very strong about this opinion and felt that I needed to make a bunch of videos about it, okay? Which I don't. This is just exists as an example. I could make a video series where I present the fishing quotas over the last several years, where I present the, number of charter licenses given, if I present the total number of fish caught, the sizes of the fish caught, the fishing grounds where they fish, compare that to the commercial fishery, which is amazingly well self-regulated here. Okay, and I could present all that. I could present factual video with a bunch of evidence against them in a hopes to sway you guys, sway your opinion. Okay? Now let's say in this analogy another thing is that not just me, but there's a whole bunch of us out here that all think like me. Okay? A whole bunch of I got a bunch of people that are equally opposed to the charter industry, that are all my buddies, and we take care of each other. So let's just say with this opinion that rather than presenting a factual video, another direction I could go is I could put up a video series where I talk about how much the charter industry is corrupt and evil, and my evidence for that. Oh, I can talk about a political assassination they did. That's right. They killed people, okay? Do you know that your average charter fisherman pays over $10,000 a year bribing politicians? That's how much money they pay to bribe politicians, okay? They've actually had political opponents assassinated. They just disappeared. The media covered it up. The media works with them, by the way, and they all cover up this incident, okay? Now, I could say that. Now, obviously, okay, you're a thinking person. You know that that's suddenly, fishy. My argument went from logical, presenting facts, to I'm just making stuff up. I'm just making a bunch of statements. Now, that happens, okay? So I make that video instead. Instead of the logical, rational video, I make this video where I'm just saying a bunch of stuff against this Charter Fishing Association. I'm just a whole bunch of crimes that they've committed and stuff like that. And, even talking about, the politicians that were actually fired. Not the ones that were killed, but the ones that were fired because they dared oppose this Charter Fishing Association. Next thing you know, they're forced to resign. That's how powerful this group is. Okay, now, let's say that somebody else out there, there's somebody in the world who supports the charter fishing, recognizes that there's some things wrong with it, of course, recognizes there may be lots of things wrong with it, but overall supports the industry. And they make a video to me where they not supporting the charter fishing industry as much as cutting down my supposed facts that I made up, okay? Detail by detail, going through, looking at these, and challenging me to come up with evidence. Prove a politician was assassinated because of this. Prove that your average charter fisherman pays $10,000 a year in bribes. Where'd you get that from? All right? So this is the video they make to me. Now, again, my choice. I have a choice. I can respond by presenting my evidence, if there is any. I could ignore it altogether, recognizing that I got caught. Or I could make sure me and all my friends spam these people with as much, not addressing the points that I made, but sending them articles on where the charter fishermen have been caught in corruption. And going, see, you're full of shit. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about, because here's an example of corruption. Okay? You understand? You see that? We could just do this and just completely sending all of these irrelevant articles, not one of which is addressing the fact that I made up a bunch of stuff in my first video, that I made up a bunch of lies about charter fishermen in my video I'd put out there, my hypothetical video. None of these are actually addressing those lies. They're just, see, and anyway, and so that's this kind of thing. And I wanted to get back to this again because it's my thing. Back to the Altemeyer's work. Again, I've said this before, a couple of different videos about it, is that there is a tendency in the RWA, high RWA mentality for people to, if you support something, if you believe in something, whether it be religion, whether it be a political party, whether it be in a particular ideology, whether it be communism or, right-wing Republicans, communism, Buddhism, whatever it happens to be, whatever your belief system is that you strongly believe in, if you're high RWA, you will take anecdotal evidence to support that, even if it appears absurd to outside people. Okay, that's one of the flaws. They're unable to judge the quality or veracity of an argument if they support the conclusion. And he's found this with lots of different tests lots of different word puzzles and things like that, testing people with things they believe in already and things they don't believe in. So if you're presenting them with a logic that proves the existence of Islam as a true religion, and they happen to not be Islamic, they're immediately able to recognize the logic flaws. If, however, you're doing the same thing with Christianity, they're not able to recognize the logic flaws that lead up to it. So anyway, I think that this is the thing. We need to, I don't care, I believe in lots of things. I know things to be true. I believe things to be true. And I make it a point to question my evidence for believing in that all of the time. I'm always trying to cross-check what I believe against the facts, because I could be very, very wrong, and I accept that possibility that I could be very, very wrong. Putting my fingers in my ears and just ignoring all arguments against me is not a way to better myself, and is not a way to become a better human being. So I hope this makes sense. Thank you, and goodbye.